Welcome to the Den, the Dark Entertainment Network. I am the Gothic Rose, and you can find me live on TikTok every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can catch up and be sure to subscribe on Spotify and YouTube. And there's a new blog, Welcome to the Den blog podcast. And that is on WordPress. The link is in my bio. And if you'd like to send me a terrifying tale, go ahead and email me at welcome to the den podcast at gmail.com. But let's get to talking about these drones again. So they were first spotted November 24th over New Jersey. And then they were seen in parts of Staten Island and around Philadelphia. And then they were seen around the lower part of Manhattan and Brooklyn. And the NYPD managed to recover one of these drones from the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Now, to me, they looked man-made. To me, these did not look like technology beyond our existence, beyond our comprehension. These drones all looked man-made. I don't know if anyone out there agrees or disagrees with that, but there have now been some airport closures and Air Force base closures. So right here where I live in the Hudson Valley, I'm in the Catskill Mountains, so I'm a little higher up, but right in the Hudson Valley is Stewart International Airport. Now, I believe back in the day it was a military airport, maybe back in the 1960s, but now it has flights. It has some international, it has some domestic flights, and I do believe that it has a private airbase. I believe that Donald Trump has had his plane at Stewart Air Force Base. I also believe that Air Force One, through several presidencies, have been at Stewart Air Force Base. So that's also where they have the air show every year, and the Blue Angels do their whole show, and it's great. And we see, helicopters and all sorts of things flying around here at night. We also see what we can describe as UAPs. So let's do a little bit of a live dive right now, because the New York Post just reported that there was another Air Force base closure. And this was not Wright Air Force Base. So that was the first one that was closed. Stewart Airport was closed down around here. So unidentified drones, it says, and this is from 2 days ago, forced critical U.S. Air Force Base to close airspace for hours. And this story is from the New York Post by Patrick Riley. And it says a critical U.S. Air Force base in Ohio was forced to shut its airspace for hours in the latest security scare over mysterious drones. And officials confirmed this on Monday. So, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base closed for 4 hours from late Friday into the early hours of Saturday because of the concern about small unmanned aerial systems. So that's two places that we know of, Air Force bases and airports, that were closed. Not to mention, it said that it's been over some sensitive sites in New Jersey. And one of those sensitive sites is actually the Bedminster golf course. So this is very weird, because Donald Trump did make a statement saying, oh, the president knows, but they both Biden and Trump are both getting the same intelligence now. So if one knows, the other must know. And some lawmakers have called for these things to be removed from the sky by force. And that kind of goes with that December 3rd prediction, Cliff High's prediction of this battle in the sky between humans and aliens. There have also been reports of people pointing lasers up at moving aircraft, which is a federal offense. Don't do that. And it's also very dangerous. But these drones are starting to cause some sort of mass hysteria. Now, here's in my notes, I just wanted to talk about this, is if you have ever seen Project Blue Book, and that went into all of there was a TV series about it, and that went into all of the sightings in the 40s and in the 50s after Roswell. So Project Blue Book, let's just do a deep dive. And if you've ever seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that movie, but with Steven Spielberg directing, literally has a connection to Project Blue Book. So according to Captain Edward J. Ruppelt, by the end of 1951, several high-ranking, very influential U.S. Air Force generals were so dissatisfied with the state of the U.S. Air Force UFO investigations that they dismantled Project Grudge and replaced it with Project Blue Book in March of 1952. One of these men was General Charles P. Cable. Another important change came when General William Garland joined Cable's staff. Garland thought the UFO question deserved serious scrutiny because he had just witnessed a UFO. So the name Project Blue Book was selected to refer to the blue booklets used for testing at some college universities. Oh, that's really kind of interesting. Blue Book, college universities, electoral college test. How interesting do all of these things tie together? Project Blue Book, blue books in college, electoral college. Is this all connected? This is where my mind goes. So they were given this, they gave it this new name because they felt, this is why, they felt as if the study of UFOs was as important as a college final exam. So Blue Book was also upgraded in status from Project Grudge, interesting name, with the creation of the Aerial Phenomenon Branch. So this was disbanded in the mid 50s. Let me just do a quick live dive. Sorry, when did Project Blue Book disband? All right, let's find this out. Does anyone out there know? So they disbanded Project Blue Book December 17th. Oh, it was 1969. So this went on for many years. And yeah, this is really interesting. So what they had during this time was 12,618 UFO sightings reported between 1947 and 1961, and out of those 12,618 UFO sightings, 701 of them remained unidentified and still are unidentified to this day. So there clearly is unidentified craft out there. Now, let's take this to a conspiracy theory. This one is a little bit right-wing. And this is the Charlie Kirk conspiracy theory of Project Bluebeam. So we're live diving right now. Project Bluebeam, because he had some choice words about that. And, I'm not sure I buy into it, but share this, like this, pass this all along if you are interested in this particular conspiracy theory. Oh my goodness. And of course, I Google Charlie Kirk, Project Bluebeam, and who else comes up but Roseanne Barr. You guys know my name. My real name is Roseanne, spelled the exact same way as hers. So, all right. According to Newsweek, Project Bluebeam, this is the conspiracy theory that is erupting over the drones. So, the recent surge in mysterious drone sightings across the United States has sparked a resurgence of Project Bluebeam and this conspiracy theory, which claims the global elites plan to fake an alien invasion. What do we think of that? Since mid November, thousands of people in New Jersey and New York have reported seeing drones in the sky, but a month on, the FBI says it does not know who is responsible or where they come from. The lack of answers has led some lawmakers to accuse government agencies of concealing information, and several theories about what the drones could be have been proposed. The gap in information has left a void being filled with rampant speculation, including outlandish conspiracy theories. But are these conspiracy theories really this outlandish with everything that has happened in the last decade? Are they really? I don't know. So, what it's saying here is Roseanne Barr in New York City on November 14th, 2023, and this is she is one of several Donald Trump supporters who has suggested the drone sightings in New Jersey are related to this Project Bluebeam conspiracy theory. And what I find funny is this is coming from Roseanne Barr. She's saying it has to do with Donald Trump. People are also saying, I don't know if this is true, so please take this with a grain of salt, that Elon Musk's brother, Kimball Musk, owns drones. And these could be those drones. Now, why would the elite be telling on themselves with Project Bluebeam? I mean, I would consider Charlie Kirk not like quite elite, but if you have more money than me, you're definitely elite. If you're more famous than me, you're definitely elite. So, why would they say this? Why would they like tell on themselves? But then again, if you have paid attention for the last 9 years, they kind of always do tell on themselves, and we don't take them seriously, or we don't know what to take seriously, because now this mentions QAnon. So check this out. So Roseanne Barr X'd or tweeted or twexted, whatever you want to call it. Now you see why I mention Project Bluebeam every week on my podcast. And her post had garnered over 2 million views by Sunday. So I'm getting a comment here from Mr. Dibs 48. They don't care. The elite, yeah, they don't care. You're right. I mean, they have everything, right? It's just like it's like the evil cartoon villains that tell the plan out loud and go, whoa, and then they wait for the super friends to come along and fix it, and they're like, gosh darn it, foiled again. But that's not kind of happening this time, is it? It seems like the elite are kind of, being able to do what they want. And then they're saying it also could be part of this secret project group that does, some sort of observations on people. And they are a lawless group of people. I did mention that on my last podcast about it. So go ahead and check that back. But Adam Kissinger, now he's been very vocal about this on Blue Sky. I'm sure he's been vocal about this on X as well. And obviously, he's a former Republican congressman. He is a critic of Donald Trump. He responded to Barr's post writing, "Here we go. Project Bluebeam. Roseanne is here pushing this. It posits that the government is faking an alien invasion to usher in the Antichrist and one world government. This is this year's QAnon. Pay attention. Don't pretend this is just the fringe. So Adam Kissinger is trying to tell us not to believe these fringe right-wing conspiracy theories, and the elite do tell us what they're going to do all the time. So it's really hard to know who to believe and what to believe, I think, until we have more information. Now, they're not saying what they know it is. The FBI isn't saying what they know it is. We can't say what we know it is. We don't know if this is man-made, if this is not man-made. Personally, I believe these are man-made drones. They don't look that sophisticated, but they look sophisticated enough to fly. Now, of course, who had to put his nose in here? Prominent conspiracy theorist Alex Jones also posted about Project Bluebeam on X, sharing a prior interview with ufologist Stephen Greer about how Project Bluebeam will be used. And then Charlie Kirk, of course, and he is a right-wing influencer. He posted, "We are effed. The drones are Project Bluebeam," and that was viewed by 7.8 million people, or at least 7.8 million times by Sunday. So all of these right-wing conspiracy theorists are here also, I believe, to drive fear into us. So if you want some left-wing conspiracy theories, follow me. Now, they're saying that Project Bluebeam is a conspiracy theory, and it only originated in the 1990s. And this was proposed by Canadian journalist Serge Monast, and he passed away in 1996. It alleges a covert operation by global elites to establish a totalitarian world government by orchestrating fake celestial or supernatural events using futuristic NASA technology. What do you guys think of that? That sounds plausible. Actually, in this world, it really does. It did not sound plausible in the 90s, but it sounds plausible in 2024. Proponents of the theory initially expected the project to begin in 1995, then 1996, then after Monast passed away, the millennium was proposed as the start date. I wonder if that was part of, or supposed to be part of, the Y2K pandemonium that everyone feared. I just remember being at a party counting down to see if the world was going to end or not, and had just listened to Prince's 1999 and didn't really have much of a care in the world. That's how I felt about it. But proponents of this theory, they expected it to begin in 95, 96. But according to this theory, now this is not what we're seeing. What we are seeing is physical drones in the sky. The theory is that advanced holographic technology would be used to project images of religious figures or extraterrestrial invasions in the sky, tailored to specific cultural beliefs. Interesting. These phenomena would aim to deceive populations, creating global panic and dismantling existing religious and social structures. The theory outlines several alleged stages. Oh, this is interesting. First, earthquakes would be triggered to unearth hidden artifacts, proving the existence that all religions are false. And the proving is in quotes because we cannot prove that religions are false. By the way, there is a Lucifer door in the Vatican that the Pope is opening. We got to talk about that too. So next, the holographic projections would simulate the return of divine figures customized to each religion, followed by a unifying God to speak to all people. Could you imagine this? I could. This is very, very Christian nationalist dystopian. Finally, it posits that technology would manipulate human thoughts, Neuralink, AI, creating the illusion of direct communication with deities and simulating an alien invasion to justify authoritarian control. So, what do you guys think of that? Newsweek spoke with Vijay Kumar, a professor of mechanical engineering at the University of Pennsylvania, about what could be occurring. He seemed skeptical that drones are being sent by a foreign state actor and suggested that the evidence points toward being a U.S. government operation. And he says, firstly, it's not a coincidence. I think that all these sightings have been near military bases. I'll just leave it at that. Like I mentioned with Stewart International Airport right here in the Hudson Valley. He also pointed out that larger drones have reportedly displayed the lights which aircraft are required to have in U.S. airspace. And if you've ever seen a craft that seems otherworldly, the lights are very different if there are any. And many people describe windows. And that's what I showed you in my pictures. Check out my TikTok with those pictures of the aircraft above my house, or the craft, we shall say. So if it was an adversary, it would take great trouble to conceal what it was doing. And he said that in the first person. So that leads me to believe it's not a military power that is trying to attack the US. It's highly unlikely that these drones, as you describe, if they are drones, likely would be controlled by line of sight. So possibly from the water, but not miles out to sea. So these drones are really causing, I don't know if they're causing as much panic and havoc, because nothing truly has happened. Nothing has come of it. People are not panicking. To be honest, I think that in this day and age, especially with what just happened in Wisconsin with the school massacre and all of that, I think that people are desensitized to mass hysteria at this point, especially after going through COVID as well. And I think part of us hope it's the aliens to come save us from ourselves. And that is how I feel about this whole thing. So tell me what you guys think. Do you guys think that these drones are man-made? Because I'm not seeing evidence that they are extraterrestrial in any way. There's too many of them. The other theory is that these drones are a bunch of hobbyists. And that could be true. There could have been, let's say, an online forum that said, okay, right after this December 3rd battle in the sky prediction, let's set out all of these drones to see what's going to happen. But that doesn't seem as plausible to me as this being something to do with the United States government, because they are not taking these things out of the sky by force. They are not telling us to panic. They're not telling us it's anything, and they're seen over a lot of military bases. But Air Force, anything that has to do with the Air Force, Stewart International Airport had to do with the United States Air Force, much like Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. So I do find that interesting that this is where these drones are focused on. But there's absolutely no indication to say that this is something extraterrestrial. So I would love to know what you all think of this. Are these things freaking you out? I'm not really too worried about them. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen at this point. but I just want to know how you guys feel about these. Did you see any? Have you had an experience with a craft that's not a drone over your home? I've said it before. I promise you guys, once I get to 10K here, I am going to tell you my story of close encounters of the third kind. It is very strange. I do not expect everyone to jump on board and believe this story, but I promise I will tell it. It is quite the story, and some strange things have happened in between then. So, with that, I am going to leave you with these theories of the drones here in the den. Thanks for joining me tonight. I am the Gothic Rose. Don't forget, you can catch up on Spotify, YouTube, and Welcome to the Den podcast, blog. Everything is linked in my bio. I appreciate you guys so much for joining me tonight on this live. I will have this up for you really soon on Spotify and YouTube, and I hope that you guys have a fantastic night. This is the Gothic Rose signing off in the den.